Respected Chairman, fellow panelists, distinguished delegates, friends. uh, we had two very interesting presentations already. I think the last man, my task should be to cut it short as far as possible. Access, quality, excellence in education, and the possibility of PPP. I am representing a state, the southernmost state of India, where we have almost solved the problem of access. And equity also, there is not much of a problem. But we have identified excellence as a major problem in education. I am essentially talking about the general education sector, that's up to the 12th standard. I'll give emphasis to excellence in this presentation. As you all know, the National Curriculum Framework, NCF, was very particular in that instruction should be pupil-centric, also it should be constructivist. And as it is well known, constructivist pedagogy entails a heavy responsibility on the teacher. And teaching is really difficult under the constructivist regime because you are not expected to present everything upfront before the children. You have to make them think and construct their own knowledge. Quite often we see children as blank slates, but they are not. They have their own experiences, their own exposures, and therefore there's a lot of inherent knowledge in them, and they have to construct knowledge through different means, by peer interaction, by thinking, by reasoning and all. So constructivist teaching is really a very positive thing, very useful thing. At the same time, it puts a lot of burden on the teacher. And there, the tools, the technologies come into play. Definitely, there are a number of topics which a teacher would be teaching which cannot be demonstrated easily. I remember my childhood. I am from a very backward village of Kerala. I have never seen sea up to my college days. So at that time, I remember my teacher giving the example for the illustration for proving that the earth is round. It is about a ship coming from the outer sea. And I have never seen a sea, I have never seen a ship. And everything, just I gulped everything, memorized, and somehow managed at that stage. So, coming to constructivism, it's all the more difficult to make the children think, conceive, reason, use their logic, and finally construct their own knowledge. That is where technology can help a lot. And also, in every subject, there may be 10 to 15 to 20% of difficult portions, as we call them, hard parts. There also, quite often, majority of the children find it difficult to understand. Also, the technology would be of immense help. So, in constructivism, the textbooks are leaner, the content is lesser, and it contains more of questions than answers. In Kerala, there have been a lot of criticisms when we went for the constructivist pedagogy and the revision of textbooks. The parents who are familiar with the earlier dispensation, they said that the textbooks don't contain anything. What are you teaching? There are only questions, no answers. Exactly, that was a strategy, that is a strategy. And teachers are given additional resources to know what they should bring out from the children during the construction phase of knowledge. So, in such a scenario, in the constructivist regime, the tools are very important to make the children think, reason, and find out their own knowledge. But we implemented the ICT, all infrastructure in Kerala, and we have now, in almost all schools, we have computer labs. All the high schools have broadband connectivity. A lot of computers are purchased and they are put into good use. Kerala is one state where we have practical examination for the class. And we are now trying to get into computer-enabled education rather than IT education by teaching every other subject in through computer or ICT, thereby making the children get familiarized in ICT rather than teaching IT as a separate subject. But when we look up for materials to teach different subjects, we find that it is conspicuous by absence. There are beautiful materials available in the market, a lot of materials, very colorful, very well animated, and very effective, very crisp, very short, very good materials. But I am sorry to say that most of the materials are not constructivist at all. They are just presenting the topic widely open before the children so that they don't have to think, they don't have to reason, they don't have to create their knowledge. Everything is presented up front. At the best, those materials are useful for as supplementary materials after teaching, after the constructivist bouts, after making the children learn by themselves as a confirmatory thing or a supplementary thing, they can be given. Otherwise, the utility is much limited, especially under the constructivist regime, which is heralded by NCF and also by the curriculum of different states. So this is the predicament in which we are. Our pedagogy has been proclaimed to be constructivist. Many states produce the constructivist textbooks containing mostly questions and no answers. And the teachers are trained properly. And now at least 40-50% of them know what is constructivism and how to teach. And it is a beautiful opportunity, but materials are not there. The materials available are just behavioristic, and they are not suitable to be used as a tool in the hands of teachers. And essentially, in Kerala, prefer a capacitated teacher rather than an instrument. We want to use the tool while transacting in the class itself, not to be shown at some other different or not to be distributed as CDs to the parents and seen at home or anything like. We want teachers to use the tools, and such tools are quite conspicuous by their absence. So this is the predicament. As the famous story of one of our agricultural universities producing bamboo-like sugar cane. They thought that they belong to the same family, they can be crossed. They thought that they will produce bamboo-like sugar cane. And finally, they crossed the two and they got sugar cane-like bamboos. So complementarity they found, but in the field experiment, it didn't materialize. But I should emphasize that this situation of complementarity is very well there in the sector of education between the private sector and public sector. Let me tell you one thing. Kerala achieved 100% access